back into the rainbow diet, which is said to have many wonderful health benefits. Fruits and veg. One of the most important foods our parents drummed into us to eat as kids. Nature's superfoods are definitely a daily necessity, but should we be worried about the pesticides which are used on them? Is fresh always better than frozen? And is going organic really worth all the money? Let's investigate. When it comes to fruits and vegetables, we are truly spoilt for choice. I mean, look at this. Look around me. I am surrounded by rows and rows of fresh vegetables. Now, in any market that you go to, you're bound to find abundant variety. And yes, we know that fruits and veggies are good for you. That's not news. But just how essential is it to incorporate them into our diets?
There are no substitutes for fruit and vegetables. They need to be consumed every day, and they cannot replace each other. This is because they are the two main food groups in our food pyramid, because it provides us with fiber and lots of great plant chemicals that have got beneficial effects in our body, and it's very high in vitamins and minerals. It helps to reduce risk of certain cancers, heart disease, and stroke.
Since there are no substitutes for fruits and vegetables, it's absolutely essential that we try to incorporate them in our diets whenever we can. And this begs the next important question: how do we pick them? Is fresh really better than frozen? Does it make a difference? Let's find out. So I've set up shop outside. I have 4 bowls of vegetables. Over here we have frozen cauliflower. And here we have some fresh cauliflower. We also have some fresh carrots and some frozen carrots. I want to find out whether people can really tell the difference.
Better. I think this one is a fresh one. I think this one is a fresh one.
This tastes fresher.
Fresher, definitely.
Which one is fresh?
This one.
I think this is fresh and this is frozen.
This is the fresh one, that's the frozen one. This is the fresh, this is the frozen.
Okay, so everybody got it right with the cauliflower, but what threw them off were actually the carrots. Most people thought that the frozen carrots were fresh, probably because it's brighter and it tastes sweeter. So at the end of the day, what's the moral of the story? Sometimes frozen veggies do taste better than fresh. That's just how it is.
Not all vegetables lend itself to being frozen. Certain types of vegetables such as broccoli or carrots or corn or peas are much more easily frozen than others. But the difference in nutritional values between fresh and frozen vegetables is surprisingly quite little, because when vegetables are frozen, they're actually taken straight off after it's been harvested and blast freezed to preserve its nutritional value. So it's almost as eating it fresh.
Vegetables are an excellent source of fiber and nutrients. They're naturally cholesterol-free, low in fat and calories. However, heat and water used in cooking can reduce these foods' nutritional content. So, I want to find out what is the best way to keep these nutrients intact. I've asked Jacqueline to show us how to cook a quick and easy vegetable dish that will capture kids' taste buds without losing flavor and the goodness. So Jacqueline, what are we making today?
We're making a mushroom capsicum stir fry, and this is a very simple and quick recipe. In just 5 minutes, and we can get a very healthy vegetable dish.
Can you tell me a little bit more about why each component is healthy?
Here we have mushrooms. Mushrooms are very high in beta-glucans, and that's good for reducing our blood cholesterol levels. And it contains potassium, which helps to lower our blood pressure. And here we have capsicum. Different colors represent different nutrients. The red one contains more lycopene, the green one contains more zeaxanthin, and the yellow one contains more lutein. Now, zeaxanthin and lutein both help to reduce incidence of age-related macular degeneration, which is for the eyes. So all these different colored capsicum contains all the 3 nutrients, just that the deeper the color, the deeper the nutrients are.
Okay, let's hop to it.
So we're going to put in the oil first. That's going to heat up, and then we throw in the onions and the shallots, and here we throw in the mushrooms. We put in some water, and now we're just going to cover it with the lid. Just 30 seconds. And now we toss in the capsicum, put in the soy sauce, the sesame oil, just a little drizzle of it, mix it around, and we're done. Just put a sprinkling on top of it.
And remember, the best ingredient you can ever put in a dish is love. Huh? Lots and lots of love. I love you. Look at that, gorgeous. Well, that was easier than I thought. But why is stir-frying such a great option?
Stir frying, you use a small amount of oil and you cook your vegetables very quickly. You retain the nutrients, you retain the crispiness, so therefore stir frying is a wonderful invention from China.
As we get deeper into our research and understand how certain foods react with chemicals, studies have shown that various vegetables such as zucchini, kangkong, also known as water spinach, potatoes, and onions, once stir-fried at high temperatures, produce a cancer-causing substance called acrylamide. Now, how does this happen exactly? Asparagine is an amino acid that is found in many vegetables. When heated to high temperatures in the presence of certain sugars, it can form acrylamide. Longer cooking times above 120 degrees Celsius can also increase production of acrylamide.
Now, acrylamide has got neurotoxic and cancer-causing properties. It can be found in foods such as crisps, chips, baked bread, especially the crust, and also some coffee. Acrylamides have been a public health concern some years ago, but I certainly think that it's of no major issue now because processing conditions have been altered to reduce the production of acrylamide, and the amount you require to eat is quite large, so I wouldn't worry too much about it at all.
To offset the production of acrylamide, it's suggested to blanch your vegetables for about 1 minute before frying. Blanching begins. Good advice to remember. Just done my weekly shopping of fruits and veg, and I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to meet with a traditional Chinese medicine physician, because in TCM they believe in the notion of a balanced diet of the yin and the yang, and some fruits and veggies are more heaty, some are more cooling. So I'm going to have myself a little bit of a checkup to see what my body needs, and then from there I'll know which ones of these fruits and veggies I need more or less of.
Can we think of house?
Sure. Okay, so what's the verdict? What's going on in my body?
Your liver and your heart.
There is slight heatiness inside.
Not very serious.
What are some of the symptoms that I'm slightly heaty, and are there any long-term effects if I don't balance?
For symptoms will be like having ulcers in the mouth and being thirsty. So in the long term, it will slowly drain off your inside the body. So you may feel agitated, maybe having bad dreams.
So that's what that is. I was wondering what's going on. Okay.
In terms of TCM, we relate our organs to the different color of food. So for your heart, we relate to red color. You should be taking fruits like red apple and tomato. For liver, it's related to green color. So you can take most of the green leafy vegetables.
Have a look. Okay, because I just did my shopping and I was hoping you could help me determine what I should have less and more of. Okay, so we'll just go one by one. I'll show you what I've got. Red spinach.
It has a bit of red color, so it's good for both your liver and your heart.
I love oranges. Okay, so please tell me this is good for me.
Yes, you can have it because orange is cooling in nature.
An apple a day, what do you think?
Apple is a neutral fruit, so you can have more.
But what do you mean by neutral?
Neutral, that means it's not too heaty or too cooling.
Okay, so somewhere nice in the middle so I can have as much of this really as I want.
Yes.
Sweet choy sam.
This one is green leafy vegetable, so it's cooling, can take.
Carrots.
Warm, but more towards neutral.
Tomatoes. I'm a big fan of cabbage.
Okay, cabbage is cold.
Because you said this is cold, not cooling. So on the scale, it's more cold.
Yes.
What is your verdict on everything that I've got in my shopping basket?
We are looking at all the vegetables here. Most of them are cooling. So for your body, it's only slight heatiness. If you are taking too much cooling food, your body condition will change.
How can I find the balance between the cooling and heaty foods that I eat?
It depends on the way you process the food. For instance, this chai xin, you can cook with garlic, so you have to balance out a bit of the cooling inside.
Our supermarkets are crammed full of beautifully shaped, brightly colored fruits and vegetables. Due to high demand and our need for perfection, all commercially farmed vegetables use different forms of pesticides. These substances have been linked to some cancers, hormone system disruption, IQ deficits in children, and a host of other modern maladies. What really is going on with our vegetables? I'm here at a commercial vegetable farm to learn about their farming techniques, their methods of production, and to see how our vegetables are grown. Hello!
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks so much for having me. What's happening on this side?
What I have over here is actually my seedling machine. So what happens is the seedling is actually deposited into a tray whereby they each have a little bit of space around them to grow.
This is the beginning of everything.
Yes, the beginning of everything.
And from here, it goes through the line, and where does it go?
Once they're done over here, they will actually move to the nursery house right in front over there.
The nursery?
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at that. I want to see what
Okay,
goes on.
let's go.
Show me your secrets. Aha! So how many different types of vegetables would you grow in this nursery?
We grow many kinds like choy sum, kailan, nai pai, cowpeck, spinach.
So why is it so important to actually have a nursery?
The nursery actually helps us to have a controlled environment whereby our seedlings are grown. It helps us to take better care of it so that it can actually grow much stronger than just harvesting in a normal greenhouse.
What do you mean by controlled environment? What is it that you're controlling?
Over here, we have to keep the temperature at a certain degrees. Okay, so when it gets a bit too warm, we will actually turn on the sun shading system on top so as to bring down the temperature slightly. So if you look at this tray, you can see that, okay, there are 1, 2, maybe 3, doesn't grow up 4. So yeah, 5 maybe. So if we actually just scatter the seeds into the greenhouse, we will not be able to tell how many seeds grow and how many seeds does not grow.
How long does it stay in here before you move them over?
It actually depends on each individual vegetable, but on average it will be about 5 days to 7.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then you just transfer them over.
Yes, that's right, to the greenhouse.
It's reassuring to see how much care and attention goes into growing our veggies. But is it the same after they leave the nursery? So I can see rows and rows of these greenhouses. How many do you have here?
I've got about hundreds of them over here.
This one looks interesting. Look at this.
Okay, let's go have a look.
Beautiful. Green as far as the eye can see. Wow. So what are you growing over here?
Okay, this is my spinach. And then over here I have my choy sum.
When everything is transported here from the nursery and you're giving it time to grow, what do you do?
We will actually water them twice a day. And then occasionally, if there is a need, we might use a bit of pesticide. But only when necessary, because we actually have different measures to reduce the amount of pesticides that we have to use.
What are some of the measures that you take in order to minimize the use of herbicides and pesticides on your farm?
By growing our seedlings inside the nursery house, these seedlings actually have their each individual column to grow, so they create a stronger root system, so we don't have to use much herbicides to kill off the weeds. And then when we grow them in a greenhouse, we actually keep out all the pests. This will also reduce the amount of pesticides used.
For locally produced vegetables, AVA monitors and regulates the use of pesticides to ensure they are applied properly. Farmers have to use AVA-registered pesticides that are in line with international standards. They must also have a certified pesticide operator to handle these chemicals at the farms. Once vegetables are ready to harvest, they are sampled and tested for pesticide residues. AVA tests for a wide range of pesticides in fruits and vegetables. If certain types of pesticides are traced, AVA will check that they are authorized for use and within regulatory limits. In the event that they exceed limits, the product will be destroyed and the supplier and importer may be subjected to a fine and a suspension of their import permit. Earlier, we discovered that frozen vegetables cannot only be mistaken for fresh, but are also a great way to lock in the nutrients.
So it's almost as eating it fresh.
And I found out the difference and effects of cooling and heaty vegetables. Sweet choy sum.
This one is green leafy vegetable, so it's cooling, can take.
I'm back at the commercial farm where I want to investigate how these vegetables get from here to our plate. Once the vegetables are harvested from the greenhouse, they're sent to the packaging area. Tons of veggies are packed here daily before they end up in restaurants or at the supermarkets. Here, the different types of greens are trimmed and weighed. After that, they're sent along the conveyor belt to seal in the freshness to make sure they end up on your plate nice and crisp. Around 3 to 4 tons of vegetables are packaged here every single day right on the farm. In just a few hours, these vegetables are going to hit the store shelves, and they might even end up on your plate tonight. Have you ever wondered whether those vegetable washes are worth the money? You put some on, you wipe it, or you wash it off, and voila, no more bacteria and dirt, right? Maybe, but there might be a better and more cost-effective way of cleaning your vegetables. Let's investigate. Today, I'm doing some comparative testing by cleaning vegetables in 3 different ways. I'll scrub 1 capsicum with a vegetable brush. I'll rinse the second with water. Lastly, I'll spray the third with a solution of diluted vinegar. 1 part vinegar to 3 parts water, rinsing afterwards. We have the results, and it turns out that using the scrubbing brush removed 85% of the bacteria. That's a little bit more than using water alone. But the most effective cleaning method is the diluted vinegar rinse. This removed 98% of the bacteria, which means we have a winner. Hey! For those of you that don't feel like going through all that trouble, how about the good old-fashioned way? Remember? You'd take your piece of fruit and you'd rub it on your clothing to get off the grime. Surprisingly, it does something. Well, it's better than nothing. But of course, it does depend on how clean your clothing is. Now here's a tip. Since bacteria and dirt collect at the top and the bottom, try slicing off both ends after you rinse, and that should do the trick. Already I'm feeling relaxed. I see wide open spaces, I can hear the birds, I can smell the soil, and this is all the labor of love of Evelyn Heng Lim. So I'm here at Green Circle Eco-Organic Farm, and Evelyn herself is going to give me a little tour of what is essentially her home. So when we talk about organic farming, what makes this an organic farm, an eco farm? What do you do differently from, general farming? What is it that happens here around you?
First, of course, a very, very basic is you never use synthetic chemical fertilizers, synthetic pesticides. So for fertilizers, I just use compost, and I do use a lot of mulch. As for pesticides, I don't even bother to use organic pesticides, which people say, can mix their chili and garlic and onion and spray, because these are just repellent. After that, when the effect goes off, they come back. But if I make sure, like in this patch here, I have multiple cropping, it will balance itself out, the pests. I don't get a concentration of one type of pest because there are so many different plants here. Nikki, this is a moringa tree.
Moringa tree, and what's special about this?
You can put it in salad, and they are very rich in calcium. Do you want to taste this?
The more the merrier.
You like the taste?
I do. It seems to me that you're really very conscious about allowing things to grow as they are and letting nature take its course.
Yes.
So talk to me about how that relates to organic farming and why organic farming is actually quite important.
Yeah, we call this farm an eco farm because we believe in the web of life that is very important, that all living things are interconnected. Animals depend on the plants for food, and the plants depend on the animals as pollinators or seed dispersals. Without the bees, the butterflies, the ants, you will not have ladies' fingers to eat, you will not have cucumbers to eat, you won't have brinjals to eat.
It is a fact that with organic fruits and vegetables, you don't have to worry about pesticides, food additives, and the impact pesticides have on the environment. However, it comes at a premium. Organic foods typically cost double, if not triple, the cost of their conventional counterparts.
Several surveys around the world have shown that there is marginal difference between organic and non-organic foods. However, they may have some flavor differences in the organic, maybe tasting a bit better, but I think it's personal choice. If you wish to eat organic foods, so be it.
To choose organic or not, it's still an open-ended question. I mean, we all know that organic food can be more expensive, so it's an investment. But with any investment, you want a return, and right now those returns aren't conclusive. But I can tell you my own personal experience, when I eat organic food, especially vegetables, I feel different and it tastes different. So for me, organic's the way.